Okay, so let's show a very quick way to how we can create objects that can be used for other in dimension that can be used for other projects. I think the key things here is we're going to render image without shadow. I'm going to do that several times. So just in case. You can follow maybe one of this is good enough. So first, we in this time, you can just keep this one very simple. If this is very new for you, just drop objects and then you don't have to control anything by just follow those 4 steps. First, you drop an object, and then you go to create some materials for this object, like some type of a wood, and in this case, and also we can for objects, if you wanted to rotate something like this, you can definitely do it because this is show the different pattern and those elements. And you can also do this way to kind of rotate. But anytime after this, what you want to do is click this one to put the everything's move to ground, or you say pull everything to the on the table. So it's Command period key. And also there are several key is very important in this concept is Command D for duplicate. So once you duplicate one, you can move this one and you can just kind of drag this one. Sometimes you can just do this one freely. When you hold, just think about the circle is for rotation, and the arrows is for move, and then the square is for size, so resize. They follow the same role as we're using, regular 2D software like Photoshop. You want to hold down Shift key when you draw, when you adjustment. So you keep this one, keep the original aspect ratio. And I'm going to change this one to a different materials and just make several copies so we can keep using this object for other purpose. And to make more duplication, you can hold down Option key and move. So have another duplication for this same object. So you can really just do this one. And also sometimes you want to say I wanted to make the object have a little bit reflection of a certain color. Here is definitely a good place to do because you can make those objects a little bit closer and to make this them influence each others. Okay, so let's just kind of like move around to have several copies here. And what's next is very important is remove shadow. I think this concept is very important. If you have a plan to use this one for other application, you just essentially just want a 3D ball here, but you don't want to bring shadows there. You don't want to, just don't need those information. You definitely want first click the canvas, so you're not click any particular object, and then you're going to go to the ground plane. Here you're not remove this one, don't switch off. So this is very important. If you switch off, the result is different. You lost a lot of other layers. You're not get a transparent background. So you still keep this one on, and you show the shadow opacity. Just go back to 0. So we don't need it. Okay, we don't need it. And then the next is one, we're going to go to the light. So this one will give you some, adjustment for what's the current light you want. You can, basically that's just based on the preference. We have several objects here. You can change the intensity if you feel something is too strong, and you can also colorize it, and by add a little bit of color for everything. Basically you change the color light of color of the light. So we'll just keep this one very simple and basic, and then next is kind of like just done, and we just move to the render section, and we want to name, you want to name it. So currently it's on title. I'm going to name it dimension 2 because I already did a dimension 1. So we just simply create a render image. So again, this process is very straightforward. You just open the document, you just drop objects, you just have everything there. And I render this one with some very challenge selection arrows here. The reason I want to do this is because I want to show you how we can get a perfect circle using the selection tool in the next step. Okay, so let's go here. And when you finish, you're going to go to dimension and go click this drop down icon here and add it in Photoshop. So when we get it in Photoshop, the first things you want to do is remove the background. So just remove background. Here we have this one actually there. And you see this is white color because the reflection is very strong light. We can definitely adjustment before we render it. But in this case, this create one example way we can using those selection mask. So how can we do this is basically we need W. We're using magic wand and to select object. So how we can do this is basically when you have this magic wand here, and be careful, this is not the object selection, not the quick selection, not all of this is called a magic wand. It's a very old method using just pick the same color, So what I want to do is we basically we have this one just like this. If you select this, for example, what you got is not the layer we want. But if you highlight this layer, highlight this object selection mask layer, what you got is a perfect circle as the original object. Okay, object may have shadows when turned from a 3D model into a Photoshop image. It's turned to a pixels. So there are some things maybe blurred with potential image that we always find those challenge a moment that is very hard to get this object out. So this option or this dimension additional layers provide a perfect solution for us just want this object. So what you need to do is just have this layer selected. Okay. And then using the magic wand to get that object. So let's show how this one works. Okay. When you got a selection like this, you go back to get a render image layer and go Command X. So we totally remove this perfect. And then we Command Shift V, bring this one back. So you see the new layer showing there, and we can have this one only one layer. And let's go back to here, render image. So let's go continue to get this red ball here. And I'm going to go back to render image. So, be careful of the layers you selected because this really will make sure that the process will work. And then what we want to do is Command X to cut this, selected area from those original layer. And then Command Shift V to create a new layer and paste this image exactly the same position, same location. This one now is ready to using for multiple purpose, and you can because this one just a simple object and that you can move this way, and it's all object. Okay, so it's a very useful way to create elements for your other projects.